Hi and welcome to Ask Wardee. I'm Wardee, a wife and mom of 3 and the lead teacher and founder of TraditionalCookingSchool.com. I'm also the author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Fermenting Foods. Ask Wardee is the weekly show devoted to your niggling questions about traditional cooking. Maybe it's your sourdough starter, your sauerkraut, superfoods, broth, or anything else to do with traditional cooking. That's what we talk about. You can catch Ask Wardee live each Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, that's 1 p.m. Eastern, or through the podcast or video replays at askwardee.tv. And now let's get to today's show. Here for Ask Wardee again, episode 25. Welcome to everybody who's here with me live and coming later. And for those of you later, you will find a video replay at tradcookschool.com/AW025. And we're going to have fun today. We've got a great question from Lovina R. And her question I know resonates with a lot of people. It certainly resonates with me now since I tend to work full-time on TraditionalCookingSchool.com and less time in the kitchen. Of course, the kitchen is a very important part of my life and our family's life too. But no matter whether you're working or homeschooling or you're with lots of kids' activities, or you have a home business, we're busy, and it's challenging to make time for real food cooking and traditional cooking, which is our particular area of real food cooking. So here's what Lovina R says. She says, working full-time and having children who work almost full-time and go to high school, I'm just not sure if I can squeeze in anything from scratch. I'm trying to become a coach and have my own business, and that will free up time needed to do more things from scratch. But right now, I'm someone who works about 9 hours daily. The kids work about 8 and go to high school for a few hours in the morning. Hubby commutes 2 hours daily and puts in a 12-hour workday. How can we begin to do food from scratch? What's the easiest, quickest thing we can make from scratch that would be healthy and beneficial for us? Says Lovina R. So let's take a show of hands, which would be thumbs up in the comments, or you can tap the screen to share hearts. Who of you find that there's too few hours in the day, that you're busier than you feel like you have time for? You wish you had more time, you can't get to all the things you want to do. So show of hands in the comments by giving thumbs up if you're pretty busy. We're getting a lot of thumbs up, or you can tap the screen and give hearts. So we're getting lots of thumbs up, even in Brazil. Good, so everybody's busy. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so Lovina, you are not alone. And I have 6 tips for you today. You guys keep chiming in there on the comments. And as I go through these 6 tips, I'd love for you to share in the comments your thoughts about any of them and or encouragement for each other or Lovina. We're going to have to move through these quickly to keep this show under a half hour. So the first thing is, and this is just something you can do across the board that's going to take no extra time whatsoever, okay? None. Because whatever cooking you're doing already, you want to real foodify, if that's a word, the ingredients you're already using. So you're going to real foodify everything that's existing and working already in your kitchen. So whatever you are cooking, you want to make sure to use the healthiest ingredients, and that is right away just going to up the game in the kitchen and up the quality of what you're making. So start with your fats. If you're not using high quality fats like butter, tallow, coconut oil, switch to those, and that's going to make all the fats in your kitchen much more healthy. Your meats and your fish should be pastured and wild caught, so right away that's going to make your dishes more healthy. Your eggs, make sure they're pastured and organic. That is going to improve the quality of what you're making. And I can go on down the list with organic grains and beans, organic fruits and vegetables, but just clean up the ingredients you're already cooking with, and that is going to just right off the bat make things better. All right, so that was tip number 1. That does not take any extra time, because whatever you're cooking, you're just going to make better. We have a lot, if you just browse traditionalcookingschool.com/recipes, all of our recipes, you could browse through those and you could start making some of those and just use real food ingredients. Pick the quick ones. I'm going to talk about some quick ones coming up here. Now, the second tip I have for you really is a change in thinking, okay? And Recently on my podcast, Know Your Food with Wardee, episode 157, I had a podcast that I called 7 Traditional Cooking Mistakes You Might Be Making. And number 3 was to address this myth that that people give up on cooking traditional because if they can't soak, sprout, or ferment, it's just a lost cause. If they don't have time to do that, if they don't do that, what's the point? There's no point to traditional cooking. Well, this is not true because traditional cooking can actually be fast. You can do fast food with traditional cooking. Now, I'm just going to quickly cover the bullet points here, but if you want more information on this, you go to knowyourfoodpodcast.com/157 for the show notes, and you can read it there. You could watch the video, you could listen in, whatever floats your boat, but you're going to focus on point number 3 because you can make all kinds of fast meals and dishes with traditional foods because you're going to focus on real whole food ingredients that don't need soaking, sprouting, or fermenting. Okay? Now, having said that, there's one class of sourdough recipes that we call no-weight sourdough recipes. If you're already keeping a sourdough starter, you can just use that starter instantly in what we call no-weight sourdough recipes. So you want to check that out. And that is a podcast. I can't remember what number, but if you go to knowyourfoodpodcast.com/157, there is a link to the no-weight sourdough recipes podcast that goes into depth on that concept. Now, other fast, simple, healthy meal ideas that are like traditional food fast are eggs. Eggs, there are so many ways to fix them. They cook up quickly. You can do omelets and egg burritos and scrambled eggs and fried eggs and quiche. You can make little baked, eggs and bacon or sausages in muffin tins in the oven and do mini quiches. Anyway, there's tons of ways to do eggs. Just cook them. In 15 minutes, you could have a meal on the table. You can do meat and veggie meals. There's no soaking, sprouting, or souring with those. You can cook meats ahead of time, or you can put meats in your crock pot, but meats, so chicken, ground beef, a nice roast. You can even do it over the weekend so that you have it cooked and ready to just quickly turn into meals during the week. And then the other part of that meal would be veggies, or it could be quick cooking, like potatoes, starches, there's no soaking. Leftover meals, so if you've had time to cook on the weekend and you cooked big meals, have leftovers during the week. That's just reheating. Another thing that we do a lot are called bowls, and these are where we take a starch like rice or potatoes, could be cooked ahead of time. You put beans, could be cooked ahead of time, or you skip that part. You do meats, they could be cooked ahead of time, or it could be something quick like ground beef, and then you have toppings, onions, cheese, tomatoes, avocado, olives, just toppings. And so we make bowls out of that. You can do salads like chicken salad or wild salmon salad. You can put it on bread if you want, but you actually top it on a bed of greens. So that's really yummy. Or, look for those sprouted tortillas at the store and you can make wraps so you haven't had to make your own. Hamburger salad's a great one. I love a green salad, and we take hamburgers or meatballs and we just have those gently warm on top. It's delicious. So that is fast food, fast traditional food, very fast meals that don't need soaking, sprouting, or fermenting. So that was my tip number 2, which was actually a mindset shift that yes, traditional cooking can be fast, and I gave you some ideas for that. Now, tip number 3 is, now this is going to come as you explore easy fast meals and as you real foodify your existing recipes. So what you want to do is to cultivate those easy meals and dishes, even desserts. So as you try things that are fast, that can fit into your busy schedule, make a note of them. So just have a running list. And when you get to a certain point, you can actually create a menu from that to just remove the whole thinking process. And then everybody in the family knows this is what we're having. You could do some batch prep on the weekend, but you're going to just take those cultivated easy recipes and give yourself the easy planning and no thinking involved of having this menu plan. And the idea is whatever's working for you, you keep a record of it, and when you have enough, you create a menu plan. I'm not going to go into details on creating the menu plan because I actually have a podcast all about 4 easy steps to creating a menu plan, kind of what I'm talking about now. So you go to knowyourfoodpodcast.com/103 for the details on that. And I want to throw in there that one thing you can cultivate as an easy dessert are Lindsay's no-bake treats. I've mentioned these for many months now, but they are such an easy dessert, so I just tuck those in somewhere in your menu plan. There's more information on that at tradcookschool.com/no-bake. Okay, so number 4. Number 4 is something that you can do ahead of time so that when you're in the busy throes of the week, that you have some more options. And I don't know if you're going to have a yes answer to this question or not, but I feel like I have to ask it. So that is, when can you cook? Do you have a Saturday morning or a Sunday afternoon or a Friday afternoon when nobody's running around and you are home, you're not working, and you could devote half the day or a whole day or a couple hours to some batch cooking, freezer cooking, or meal prep for the week? Because if you put in a little bit of time during those stretches, you will make the following week so much easier to get real food on the table. So some examples, and I would want you to focus on things you know you wouldn't have time for during the week, but that you know everybody would love to eat and would help keep you guys fueled and healthy and away from convenience foods. And that is, so any snacks you like to make. Breads, so sourdough English muffins are so easy. We have a recipe at traditionalcookingschool.com. Just search for sourdough English muffins. Those are really easy to batch cook ahead of time. We do triple batches usually, and I keep them in the freezer for the week. Broth, rice, yogurt for the week. You can prep your veggies for the week. We also have an article at Traditional Cooking School on preps for like washing produce ahead of time and guidelines for that and what stores well and things like that. So just search for Guide to Washing Produce, I think it's called. You can make your salad dressing for the week. You can cook chickens or roasts or things in the crock pot and then debone or shred, and then you have meat on hand for the week. You can cook beans. You can do your ferments on the weekend, like get your sauerkraut going on the weekend, and then midweek all you're doing is moving it to the fridge because it's done. So those are so many things that take just you could put in 2 hours on a Saturday morning and have a whole bunch of stuff ready for the week. And better yet, if your kids were home with you, so that you could all pitch in, because if there was 2 children home with you and you each put in 2 hours, that's like 6 hours between you to make it easier for all the rest of you for the week. Number 5, tip number 5, I just have 2 tips left. How's everybody doing with this? You could give me a thumbs up or some hearts if it's resonating with you or if you're finding it helpful, because I know a lot of us are busy, so sometimes we bemoan that, oh, I'm too busy even to think about it, but then you hear something and you're like, that's going to work for me. Thank you, Meg, for the clapping and the flowers. So springy. Great, I'm glad you're finding this helpful. All right, so number 5 is, don't feel guilty about using healthy convenience foods, because we live in a wonderful day and age. I mean, it's a sad day and age because most of the food that's in the grocery store is not good, but there's this resurgence in small artisan food companies that are making things that you and I would want to eat available. And it really depends on your store and if you have a good, robust health food section with a good selection. But if you do, or there's Amazon.com, you could bulk order and have something shipped to you. But there are wonderful, healthy convenience foods out there. So there's drinks, there's meats, there's quality butter, there's cheese, there's fermented foods, there's sprouted or sourdough bread, there's really good jerky. Nick Sticks is a brand that I like. You can even buy good plain yogurt with active cultures if you don't want to make your own. There's Applegate Farms, hot dogs or lunch meats, just to name a few. I have a post at Traditional Cooking School that's called Our Favorite Healthy Convenience Foods, so you can search for that at traditionalcookingschool.com, or if you go to the show notes for this podcast, it's tradcookschool.com/AW025, and you'll find a link to the post that I'm referencing. And K.M. Brooks is saying in the comments that even Costco carries a lot of these things. That is so true. So check Amazon, check Costco, check your grocery store, your health food store, and see what of these healthy convenient foods would make a big difference in your family getting through the week. And instead of turning to junk food, which junk food has a high price tag, surprisingly. You get these teeny little packages for a couple dollars and the cost per ounce is astronomical. So why spend it there? Spend it on healthy convenience foods. Sure, you might pay a little bit more. Maybe you pay less if you shop through Costco or Amazon. But anyway, if you're gonna end up turning to convenience foods, why not turn to healthy convenience foods, right? So don't feel guilty about it. Use it and support these companies that are giving us good options. I'd much rather spend my money there than on junk food. Okay, and number 6. This is something that you and your family, it's just something I want you guys to talk about. But you sound overworked and busy. And so I'm going to ask you to talk with your family and see where they can help. Now, your husband has a 2-hour commute and works 12 hours a day, so it doesn't sound like he has much time. And the children work 8 hours a day and they have a couple hours of school. You're working full time. It seems to me that the load is similar for you and your children. So sit down and talk to everybody and be honest. You know, just say, everyone, I'm busy, you're busy. This is a team effort though. We all want to be healthy and at our best, and I'm totally frazzled and I would really appreciate sharing the load. So how can you help out? Because this is for the good of the family, it's for the good of your health, it's for your mom and everyone in this family. Let's pitch in together and try to find a solution here so that we all can eat better, even though we're all so busy. So if you can help me with the dishes, if you can help me with food prep, if you can give me a couple hours on Saturday or Sunday afternoon so that we can all pitch in together and get a little bit ahead for the week, I would appreciate that. So honestly, when I think about the 6 tips, I think they're all important. But I think being on the same page with your family and all of you working together might be the number one thing you can do to get ahead in this. Because as busy moms, we tend to shoulder a ton and not ask for help. And so I'm going to encourage you to ask for help from your family so you can all pitch in. At Traditional Cooking School in our Real Food Kids course, Jamie is my co-teacher there. And she brought to the table this wonderful phrase, everyone eats, everyone cooks, because it's a family effort. Yes, moms, we're the nurturers, we're the homemakers, we're the ones who are caring for the family. But we want our children to be capable, responsible, competent, skilled in the kitchen. So just like we teach them to brush their teeth and do their own laundry and keep their rooms tidy, let's teach them to participate in the kitchen because it's a family effort. It's sustenance and healing and joy for the whole family, and there's no reason why, if everyone's busy, mom should shoulder the entire load. So think about that. Think about that, Lovina, and tell me what you think. All right, well, I'm going to close here because it's gone quite long. I want to encourage you, Lovina, and anybody else who's busy to try one or all of these 6 tips. And within 24 hours of this airing live, you will find them all for your reference at tradcookschool.com/AW025 for Ask Wardee episode 25. And right there you can leave comments, check out the video replay, subscribe on iTunes, or listen to the audio version of this. Thank you so much for being here. God bless you. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for coming today. It's been fun. Here's what to do next. Ask Wardee wouldn't be possible without your questions, so please keep them coming. If you're on Twitter, you can tweet me. Use the handle @TradCookSchool with your question and include the hashtag AskWardee. Or you can email me, wardee@askwardee.tv. To get the show notes, links I mentioned, or even to catch up on past episodes, just go to askwardee.tv. To join the fun of the live video recording of Ask Wardee each week, be sure to follow me @TradCookSchool on the Periscope app, or go to periscope.tv/TradCookSchool. We're live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, that's 1 p.m. Eastern. And finally, you can subscribe to Ask Wardee as a podcast using iTunes, the podcast app, or Stitcher. If you're on a mobile device, just search for Ask Wardee right in the app. If you're on a desktop or laptop, just go to tradcookschool.com/AWiTunes for Ask Wardee iTunes. And while you're there, please leave a rating or review. I love to read your comments, and your feedback helps others who are interested in traditional cooking find my podcast too. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next week.